cognitive psychology especially, really, it's economics. And that's why we should all just take a net worth upgrade to skip past all this stuff and have our assistants doing all of that stuff for us, like I was talking about in my argument from graph paper. But in any event, it is a useful cognitive exercise, as it turns out. And I think what it demonstrates is if a person is conscientious enough about all of the, speaking of being good at entities and Russian nesting dolls, so that you're not Edward Snowden Russian nesting with some acrobat supposedly and having children with her, being saved from having to have Donald Trump entities, because I want the entities. And that's why I never liked Jason Mraz's song I'm Yours. It was just it's just one of the sickest songs I've ever heard, because he says in it, rid yourself of entities and just go with the seasons. Now, if he was saying to all of the people that are felons that can't get jobs or whatever, rid yourself of felonies, I read and I found out that he was saying entities. So he's not saying rid yourself of felonies like a rich person can just pay out that attorney general, or pay out whoever has pay out the FBI. You just pay out the FBI. If you're rich enough, you just pay out the FBI. They take it right off NCIC. If I'm curious, if the police officers look up Donald Trump, they all know his social security number. I wonder if there's some kind of Illuminati secret all police officers have to keep, and that's why, because they have to be brought into Illuminati to a certain extent, they can all exclude me from taking pictures of them, if not, by encrypting all the radios in a lot of municipalities, then by making sure I'm too broke to have a camera. So someone has to donate a camera to me. Save disaster images. That's something we're working on. But again, we're talking about, and we've got limited time, so we're going to get right to it, which is, I don't want to rid myself of entities. I want to have all these LLCs that own all these fourplexes, that own all these, and then we trade those into apartment buildings, and we trade those into strip malls, and we suck all this money in, and eventually, I use as an example to people, think about it. Have you ever been into a Neiman Marcus? Or have you ever been into a Nordstrom? So anything at a Westfield Mall? Have you ever, or Ala Moana Shopping Center in Hawaii that people can get right out of the airport into Hawaii? Very, very big travel destination for people here in Southern California because of the Matson ships in the mid-20th century, early to mid-20th century, the Matson liners, Matsonia, Lurley, and all of it, all the history. Multi-generational travel destination. I digress. So it's a useful cognitive exercise, and it exposes, if you're conscientious enough about all of your Russian nesting dolls to begin with, whatever those are, because if you have a larger, broader view of reality, then if you've got something like a limited time window where you can make an appointment for another time window, since time is money, whether it's to do your laundry, or in this case, you have to go into an office to ask them not to have to do chores in the morning, which we have to start in exactly 50 minutes, right? Not to have to do chores in the morning, so that you can take the first bus out of downtown San Diego into Escondido and transfer into North County Transit District, and then coordinate some kind of transfer up to a homeless shelter in Escondido to work at Harrah's, which is under Caesars Entertainment. We all know about the battle for the strip between Caesars and the other one, MGM Caesars up in Vegas. But the problem you have is, so now I smell bad, now my teeth aren't brushed, now I don't have washed clothes and they're all dirty. But I'm talking specifically about one of the most unique time windows. So you've got all these, in the dorm hall. It's kind of like the Catholic Charities in Vegas on Four Master Lane across from the courtyard. And that's kind of what it is. I'm on the top bunk, and so there's an issue with hydration too. You kind of have to drink less water because you can't get up and use the bathroom 2 times a night. But I make it work. And so it's actually a bit of a comfortable situation, especially when you can cover your eyes up with a shirt or a sock or something like that, because the fluorescent lights are all on. And so I've kind of gotten used to from having been in the homeless shelter in Las Vegas, and it's an interesting experience. So it's a place to sleep, but you can't get your stuff out of storage except for certain hours, and they're very strange hours in the evening. So I would have to pre-get my stuff out of storage for the next day until I can go to storage again. That's too low a level to have to block off time for it to work around. So, okay, I can put that in the calendar. This is when I can go into storage. It would help to, then I can pull up Outlook, look at my entire calendar, look at my entire agenda. Okay, this is a time when I can, that's when smarter people that can remember that big number I was talking about, or remember larger spans of digits. Also, it kind of translates into being able to draw a picture in their head of their own calendar, not have to use a software application. So yes, people that are dumber. And there's another thing I talk about, and we're going to get into in a later video, and when I publish my book, The Dark Parts of Wisdom, we're going to talk about is people just go and use a spreadsheet now. you had to be able to do it in your head. And so more dysgenic people have had to been led into more eugenic positions in society that they otherwise would not have had access to, because now we can look at a computer and people that can, you know, can remember more digits, and so they can do all of the corporate financing on a potential real estate investment, and that cash flow is worth it, let's buy into it and finance it in their head. But now you can pull up a computer in front of you. I actually think that as they're trying to weed out slower people that have broken in, and wait a minute, it should go to someone that can do the underlings work. It can go to someone that was in the Navy. It should go to someone that was in the Marine Corps. It should go to someone that could actually do these things with their body and mind, instead of these, you know, like the royal families that Charles Dickens had written about the aristocracy in England, that it's the word insolent. He used the word insolent, that these are sickly inbreds, and so sickly inbreds like me shouldn't have it. We should just be getting SSI. There's your go away money, so we can give it to people that look better, actually have that speed and coordination. But no, I came into life with these expectations, and society's going to bear the burden of my existence. So give me the 5 people helping me, and the girls jacking me off in a hot tub, and the you know, and it's just that I smell good, and the trophy wife, and the picture on a web page that's a headshot in a very, very high position in society. But okay, so we do that. We use our assistive device, we use our computer, we block that time off, and yet, okay, so you know you have to get stuff. So now your head had this picture in your head, and you've got this block of time when you can access storage. And there's all, like I said, prerequisites to getting to be around these elite women. Or you smell good, you're clean shaven. But the prerequisites for that having any value is that you have enough of a conceptual picture of your own life, which to an extent, that crutch of Microsoft Outlook helps, because that becomes but even that's not enough. So you have to be thinking to yourself, okay, there's all these events, and what things do I need for the events tomorrow before I can get to storage again? Then you have to get all of that. And then there's another problem, which is just purely logistical. So why even waste your time thinking about it? The point of having your stuff in storage in that room back there is so you can sleep on your bunk bed without all this shit all around you. It's gonna fall off the bed, it's gonna fuck up the person on the bottom bunk. It's uncomfortable. People are gonna steal it from you. It's better if it's in, I mean, you know, certain valuables better to have right next to you, because someone's just gonna go right in there and steal all your shit anyway. But okay, I got some clothing or whatever, leave it there, you know. And then I should be able to just, okay, I'm gonna wash my clothes. It's set up for a morning time, like 9 o'clock or 10 a.m. Walk right up to the people at the window, like I'm, you know, San Diego State University. I should have been dorming when I was in college, but psychiatry made me 200 pounds overweight by then, and I was getting an English degree, ineligible physically not well enough to put my penis in these beautiful international women that were staying in the dorms. That's what it's for. When you get your dick wet with that nectar, it does things to you. You know, I really do believe, and this is stuff that you won't hear from doctors or whatever, but if you get your dick wet with pussy juice, and I talked about the logistical problems of a condom with my penis so small, because your typical condom that any man with a normal sized penis can wear with a normal thickness, okay, you can get thinner, like ribbed condoms or whatever, but the normal size penis is inside a regular rubber, because actually I think it was called Crown. The condom was called Crown. That's just the perfect one. But for my penis, for a normal guy's penis, it's just perfect. You get in there, you feel the warmth, you fill it up with milk and honey. But you know, it's a real experience. But for a smaller penis, that rubber becomes more of a hindrance to feeling that warmth and to getting the feel of her insides. And so sex just isn't the same. And so there you go. We're out of time.